Okay, let's discuss about the coagulation of colloid or sol. Coagulation is the process of settling of colloidal particles. It is dispersion medium and this one is dispersed particles. This is the colloid and we are taking the example as sol. Sol means dispersed particle is solid and the dispersion medium is liquid or water. Here the solid particle is dispersed in this dispersion medium or sol. So coagulation is the settling of these all colloidal particles and gets settled at this bottom. That means it is a settling of colloidal particles. This is dispersion medium and these all are coagulated particles. Okay, so if dispersed particles get settled, then this process is called coagulation of colloid or coagulation of sol. And coagulation is also known as precipitation. So first of all, we will discuss about the coagulation of lyophobic sol. The stability of lyophobic sol is due to the presence of charge on colloidal particles. If somehow the charge is removed, the particles will come nearer to each other to form aggregates or coagulate and settle down under the force of gravity. The colloidal particles of lyophobic sol can be precipitated by electrophoresis process. In electrophoresis process, the colloidal particles move towards oppositively charged electrodes. As we know, colloidal particles are charged, either is positive or negative. So they get discharged and precipitated. This is electrophoresis process. Another method of coagulation of lyophobic sol is by mixing two oppositively charged sols. Oppositively charged sols, when mixed in almost equivalent proportions, they neutralize their charges and get partially or completely precipitated. For example, mixing of hydrated ferric hydroxide, which is positive sol, and arsenous sulfide, which is negative sol, bring them to the precipitate form. This type of coagulation is also known as mutual coagulation. So if we mix positive sol and negative sol in equal proportion or almost equal proportion, they neutralize and gets precipitate because the stability of lyophobic sol is due to the presence of charge on colloidal particles. So positive sol and negative sol neutralized and loses its stability and finally gets coagulated, and they do not get dispersed in dispersion medium. This is mutual coagulation. Another method of coagulation of lyophobic sol is by boiling. If sol is boiled, then there will be the increase in collision between the sol particles and dispersion medium molecule. So increased collision between sol particles and water molecules, that is dispersion medium, that remove the adsorbed layer of ions on colloidal particle and reduces the charge on these colloidal particles. This takes away the charge from the particles, so the stability of these ions gets reduced. These particles gets settled down Another method for the coagulation of lyophobic salt is by addition of electrolyte. Electrolyte means, for example, sodium chloride, sulfuric acid, which can furnish ions. NaCl furnishes Na plus and Cl minus, and sulfuric acid furnishes H plus and sulfate ions. So electrolyte means any substance which can liberate ions in water. If excess electrolyte is added to salt, then the salt gets coagulated. If you add any electrolyte in positive salt, then what will happen? The negative dispersed particles get neutralized by positive ions furnished by electrolyte. Similarly, positive colloidal particles in positive salt get neutralized by negative ion furnished by electrolyte and gets precipitated. And hence, a negative ion of electrolyte causes the precipitation of a positively charged salt and vice versa. The ion responsible for neutralization of charge on colloidal particles is called coagulating ions or flocculating ions. It means here positive ion is coagulating ion and here negative ion is coagulating ion. The ion responsible for neutralization of charge on the colloidal particles is called the coagulating ion or flocculating ion. So a negative ion causes the precipitation of positively charged salt and vice versa. Here we have topic Hardy-Skulls rule, which is related to coagulating ions or flocculating ions. Hardy-Skulls rule states that the greater the valency or valence of flocculating ion added, the greater is its power to cause precipitation. That is, the precipitating effect of an ion on dispersed phase of opposite charge increases with the valence of the ion. For example, we have arsenic sulfide salt, which is negative salt. In the coagulation of negative salt, the flocculating power of ion is in the order of like this. Higher the valency, greater the flocculating power of these ions. So order is like this. Similarly, we have another example of positive salt, that is ferric hydroxide salt. In the coagulation of positive salt, the flocculating power of the ions is in the order of like this. Higher the valency, higher the flocculating power of these ions. So aluminum ion can precipitate arsenic sulfide salt, which is negative salt, than barium, than sodium, because here the valency is higher than that in barium and that in sodium. So in this case, aluminum ion precipitate more as compared to barium ion and sodium ion. Similarly, this ion carries more charge than this and sulfate and chloride. So this ion, which has higher valence, can precipitate more the ferric hydroxide salt, which is positive. Precipitation power, flocculation power of an electrolyte or ion is experimentally determined by finding the minimum concentration of electrolyte in millimole per liter required to cause the precipitation of a salt in 2 hours. This is called flocculation value of an electrolyte or ion. So lower the flocculation value of ion, higher the coagulating power of that ion. For example, the flocculation values in millimole per liter of different ions for the coagulation of negatively charged arsenic sulfide salt are given here. Here we see The flocculation value of aluminum ion is very low, then barium, and then sodium. So the flocculation value of aluminum is very low, means it has high coagulating power to precipitate or coagulate this arsenic sulfide sol. Similarly, the flocculation values of the different ions for the coagulation of ferric hydroxide sol, positively ferric hydroxide sol, are given here. Here we see the flocculation value of chloride ion is 132 and that of sulfate is 0.210. So if we compare the flocculation value of chloride and sulfate, the sulfate has low flocculation value as compared to that of chloride. So if we compare the coagulating power of chloride and sulfate, then sulfate can coagulate more than chloride. So what will be the flocculation value of phosphate? We can compare that the phosphate can precipitate more. It means flocculation value of phosphate should be less than that of sulfate. So if we see again in ferrocyanide ion, it means its flocculation value must be lower as compared to the value of phosphate. So in conclusion, lower the flocculation value of ion, higher its coagulation power, and vice versa. Let's discuss about the coagulation of lyophilic sols. There are two factors which are responsible for the stability of lyophilic sols. These factors are charge and solvation of the colloidal particles. When these two factors are removed, lyophilic sol can be coagulated. This is done by adding electrolyte and by adding a suitable solvent in a lyophilic sol. When solvents such as alcohol and acetone are added to hydrophilic sols, the dehydration of dispersed phase occurs. Under this condition, a small quantity of electrolyte can bring about coagulation. Remember, hydrophilic sol means the sol in which dispersion medium is water.